Hello there! I've decided to add a little section near the beginning of this video to basically explain what the hell it is, because this isn't a video I made anytime recently. It was actually a video I made all the way back in 2021, which, and I can't believe I'm saying this, was a... Shut up! Which, and I can't believe I'm saying this, was a very different time. YBA was still in its golden age, the audio update hadn't happened yet, and we were granted with the best season of Formula 1 in history. Unless you're a Hamilton fan, in which case... And in the midst of all of that, I started a tradition called December. A tradition which I've now retired, where every December, my channel would go on a JoJo hiatus, where I basically upload JoJo this, JoJo that, JoJo everywhere, which I stopped because I eventually just started generally uploading content for it. So, what's this video about? Well, it's basically a video of me recommending this one Roblox game called Troublesome Battlegrounds 2, which, and I'll forever stand my ground on this, was the best JoJo combat game. Keyword is was. Because not only has the game only been getting more and more broken through absolute neglect, but the devs are a real bunch of so I actively didn't want to support them when they started doing their really weird shit. One more thing to note though is that this is the first video I made about Roblox after a 6-month hiatus. And this video actually marks what I consider the birth of Genichiro, because this was the moment where I realized how valuable the golden top hat had become. And from there I made a joke that, okay, I guess this is my personality now. So yeah, enjoy this blast of the past as I show you the JoJo game that was this close to greatness. Ugh, there just aren't enough JoJo games! Sure, these 3 are really good, but they all have huge flaws to them! Heritage has that fucking bird. All-Star Battle locks its skins behind an online mode, which doesn't do me good with my hacked PS3. And Eyes of Heaven doesn't even have local multiplayer! My god, if only there was something new that I could... What's this? I'm sure I felt it before, but I declined it due to not meeting my tastes. Was there something that I overlooked? Is there more to the surface than meets the eye? Can these clouds move so I can see what it is? Okay, fine, I'll give it another chance. I'm in! God, when was the last time I used this account? Okay, first things first, what happened to my limiteds? Last time I checked, the prices of the market in general were inflated to a ridiculous degree, so is there anything to... I guess this is my personality now. Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh, Troublesome Battlegrounds 2! Holy shit! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Yes! Enough of my shitty internet tributes. Let's just start the review. Troublesome Battlegrounds 2 is everything you would want out of a JoJo game. It's fast, fluid, satisfying, has a good roster, and most importantly, actually has multiplayer. So why the hell is it on Roblox? Well, there are 2 reasons as to why I think this game has been placed on the platform. One is that there's already a lot of JoJo assets that were already here from everyone uploading their own audio clips from the library. And the big one is that the people who made JoJo don't really care about licensing if it's on Roblox. And while most people use this to make there are some people who use it to make JoJo games flourish on the platform. And the result? Wow. But for now, let's forget the fact that this is on Roblox and judge it as an actual game. Because I think it's a little unfair to look down upon it because it's on Roblox and Roblox have adopted me, so Roblox bad. Because I've always hated that way of thinking. I'm looking at you, Silicork. You have 4 modes to choose from when you boot into the game. Casual, which is filled with multiple people duking it out in a selection of different modes. Ranked, where you can engage in 1v1 or 2v2 battles to your will. Training, where you get to find new combinations and combos to your leisure. And Private, which requires a game pass to make servers, which kinda blows. I won't cover training mode or private servers because they're likely not going to be where you're spending most of your time. Though we will use training mode to discuss the game's mechanics right about now. By the way, developers, thank you for including a green screen room. Or green screen area, I don't know. TB2 is a 3D fighting game that's comparable in its design choices to Eyes of Heaven. Clicking will do a regular attack that does a surprising amount of damage for being a regular attack. Holding F will block any oncoming attacks, though do be careful as this can be broken, kind of like in Smash Bros. And pressing Q will make you roll. Though you can't attack during this, so it's much better suited to characters that can instantly dodge, kind of like Jotaro when he's in his awakening form. You also have 6 special abilities that you can choose from, 5 being selectable from the number keys, and 1 being selectable from X due to it being more important than the other attacks. Once you do 300 damage or more, a special meter called an awakening meter will fill. Once you pop this, a cutscene will play, you'll get 50 health back, and then for a limited amount of time you get even more powerful moves, and one that's basically the equivalent of a final smash. Though, do be noted that you can't activate Awakening if there's less than 20 seconds left in the round, which... it gets in your way more than you'd expect. And that's pretty much it. Every JoJo fighting game works differently and requires a different amount of brain power. And I think the Troublesome Battlegrounds 2 fits snugly in between these two. It's pretty tricky to learn, but it won't take you an eternity to get into one character. Dio! Now that we've finished talking about the mechanics, we can talk about Casual mode. Casual has 5 different game modes in it. Free-for-all, which is just as it sounds. Team Battle, which is really hard to write a joke for. Randomizer, which gives you a different character every time you spawn. Though I don't really think it's a good idea to put randomizers in fighting games. They go as well together as peanut butter and Marmite. Character Wars, which is basically the same as Class Wars in TF2, again, not really that good for a fighting game. And Infinite Awakenings, where everyone can become super powerful right out of the gate. This is my favourite mode for the amount of chaos happening around literally every corner. Now, there was one mode that they had since launch, but removed in a recent update called Juggernaut, where one person has an amount of health which is adjusted to the server size, and everyone has to kill him. Kinda like versus Sexton Hale, and I will never forgive them for removing this and replacing it with Randomizer. Even though Casual mode is a lot of fun, there are a couple things I have to complain about. For one, the Randomizer mode has a glitch where when the timer ends, it has a chance to completely lock up the server, forcing everyone into an endless randomizer game. Now, any other mode I would be okay with, but why did it have to be the one where I physically can't pick the character I want to be? Whenever a round ends and you get off to the voting period, you can either vote for what map you want to play on, or the mode you want to play. Not only is it stupid that you can only choose one, but you can only choose from 2 game modes! And guess how many modes there are that force you into using characters that you aren't familiar with? 2! This is why I leave most of my servers. And lastly, due to some of the DLC characters being drastically more powerful than those from the base roster, it only takes 1 Vanilla Ice to completely remove any chances from victory. Apart from that, it's a ton of fun to wreak havoc on a huge selection of people at once. And because they have more to focus on than just you, it makes you able to get away with ballsy plays that would be downright disgusting in a 1v1. Speaking of which, the Ranked mode puts you in a lobby where you can either play 1v1s or 2v2s. Now, to address a couple things before we get started discussing this, it may say Ranked when you enter the mode, but the ranks are pretty much non-existent. Not only are any resemblances of scores really short-lived due to how hard you fall down when you lose, but you can challenge literally anyone despite your rank. So, I generally like to call it the Versus mode myself, because I think that's more fitting for it. I'm also not going to be talking about 2v2s because it's really hard to set them up. You have to type a player's name to request them to be your partner, and then you have to wait for someone else to do the same, as opposed to 1v1 click, wait, play. Once you get into a lobby, the character your opponent is using is briefly hidden as the countdown to the beginning of the match starts. But once the character is shown, you and your opponent aren't allowed to change it. So you have to think hard about what the character you want to use is, considering that you don't know what your opponent is, so it's gonna be basically chance if you got someone that can counter your opponent. Explaining the mode's gameplay is really simple. You have 5 lives, beat the other player. That's literally it! What did you expect? Item rain? So, due to the awakening system, the whole thing pretty much becomes a race to the awakening meter. Because if your opponent was at low health on their second life and pops their awakening meter, then unless you can follow it up with your own not too much later, you've lost. Hey, this video's ending was originally going to be a rant about how you shouldn't judge a game's book by its cover, but for my standards, I think it was a little too, like, boycott this guy and raunchy for people to actually enjoy. And considering the kind of person that I am, that's really saying a lot. I'll post the unfinished cut to Discord, but for anyone watching this video, I don't know how to finish this video, Funny spin?